Good morning. Hello and welcome to my Tuesday Stampin' Chat. It's the 6th of July and I know I say this all the time and I hear everybody saying it, but really, where is the time going? Just going to check that I'm live in the right place because that's always a good start. And just enlarge that so that I can hopefully see comments. If anybody's joining me this morning, please do say hello. Of course, if you're shy, you can sit there in the background and listen along, craft along with me if you can. But it's lovely to know who's here and have a bit of conversation. So wait for people to pop in for a moment. Morning, Kate. How are you doing? Weather's a bit strange, isn't it? We always talk about the weather, so British. It's just a bit bizarre at the moment. It's like sunny, then really heavy downpours. We were even chilly last night. Funny weather, funny weather. Anyway, today I've got a few things to share with you. Some I will share at the end. Morning, Ruth, how are you? Hope everybody had a lovely weekend. It feels like a million miles away for me. I don't know why. It's because it's Tuesday, and as you know, I don't normally work on a Monday, so the weekend seems a long time away. Funny that I'm talking about it. You're fine, Kate, that's good to know. You're a bit chilly. Yeah, it's that wind. I can see a bit of blue sky out there, but it's cloudy, and when I went out first thing, which was before 7, it was actually quite pleasant. It wasn't too bad, but the sun came out and now it's gone in. It's a bit grey, so. Morning, Ellie. Oh goodness, you're homeschooling this week. Emma's year group's home for the week. Oh, I can't read all of that comment. I have to look at my Mac, sorry. So you don't have to isolate, but there aren't enough staff to cover. Oh, goodness gracious. Well, thanks for stopping in. I hope probably have to catch up on the replay. So, what have I got to talk to you about today? Lots of things going on. I've been doing lots of things in the background. I've been playing with colours, pushing myself out of my comfort zone. So lots of things coming up, but I can't quite share with you for now. So, Ruth, you're isolating. Oh no, Holly got sent home from school. A girl in her class tested positive. Oh, bless you. We're going to be hearing a lot of this, I think, aren't we, with numbers kind of coming, but no more sending home after the 19th, yeah. Just in time for the holidays, yeah, that lovely 6 weeks of having your children at home with you. Yay, how exciting. So you're going to have to keep yourselves busy and keep those children entertained, and let's hope that the weather's going to perk up a bit by the time the school holidays come round so that you can get them out in the garden and burn up all their energy. So let's get back to the task in hand. So I am playing today with the Tidings and Trimmings stamps. It's a Christmas stamp set from the annual catalogue, but I am not planning to use it until the end of the month at least for anything that is festive. And I'm hoping today that you'll enjoy my projects. They're a little bit different. So the other thing that's happened is, as a demonstrator, I've had sneak peek of the new mini catalogue that's coming your way as a customer in August. It should have been coming July, but it's coming August. What I might do is just flip you down and let you see the front covers because I can't share inside yet. So bear with me, bear with the palm of my hand. You know I hate doing this, but it's the only easy way to do this. Let's move everything out of the way. Switch you down. Get you into position. Wait for catch up. Oops, move planners out of the way. I feel like I live in a world of constantly planning ahead. Wait for catch up. Experimenting with my light as well. And then we'll get this grid paper taped down. Morning, Lucianne. How are you? How are we all? Did we all have a lovely weekend? Mine was quite busy, lots of gardening happening. yeah, it kind of just went. I worked on Saturday morning as usual. I didn't go live. I can't really go live every Saturday because don't get a lot of spare time or time to myself, and I'm always kind of catching up. So where do I want my light? I'm just going to flick my light off. No, I'm not. Let's leave it there for a moment. I think it's bright enough. Tape you down. So you can see I had some happy mail. My mini catalogue has arrived along with Celebration. So if you had forgotten, we are having a second celebration happening. So this will begin 3rd of August along with the mini catalogue, not July, obviously, we have passed that date. And the reason for this being that because of COVID, there have been so many delays with product, Stampin' Up! Didn't want to release the catalogue until they knew they had a good inventory of things. So that's the reason behind that. But set another celebration again. So we've got 2 whole months of free goodness, and I love the items in here. I've placed my pre-order, and so if you would like to see any of these books early and even order products early, please do get in touch. You can join my team. There's no pressure from me. It's a fun place to be, being a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. It's a lovely community, but you will get to pre-order items from the mini catalogue in your starter kit. So yeah, super exciting. So that is the mini catalogue that is coming. Lots of gorgeous projects in there, not just Christmas, of course. There are some lovely autumnal things happening. Now, the other thing I just want to shout out before we start is we've got the DSP sale. So designer series paper. We've got 9 lovely paper packs in here that are reduced. They have 15% off. And I'm going to be using, let's pull it out, this one again. Really focusing hard on this bundle of the Tidings and Trimmings. And then these lovely pack of DSP that goes with it. So not so festive on that side. I think I've got the back cover on there, yeah. But obviously, as you can see, pretty festive on there. And I am excited to use these sides of the paper. So I'm excited to get out the cherry cobbler ink even. But all in good time, all in good time. So my pre-order has shipped. I'm hoping it will be here Thursday. And then I will be forced to play with Christmas stuff because I've got things to do for my team training this month. So definitely we'll be doing some festive things. So today we're focusing on the Tidings and Trimmings stamp set. So this is in the annual catalogue. I am also using, am I on a crook? Let's pull this tape up, straighten a bit. I'm also using the Biggest Wish. This is proving to be a really popular stamp set. Then I have got the dies. Look at these dies. They are gorgeous. And my mission this month is to show you that this combination with that pattern paper is not just for Christmas, okay? Lucianne, your pre-order's coming Thursday. Exciting, hey? I'm super excited. Love new product. Love having new product to play with. Although I feel like I have plenty surrounding me at the moment. So yeah, fabulous, fabulous dies. So as I said, my mission is to share projects that are non-festive. So no Christmas involved. Because that way, by purchasing this stamp set now, you can use it for other things that you need to make, for packaging, for cards. And then when you start your Christmas crafting, for some of you that may not be until August or September, or some of you even October, then you've already got this stamp set, but you've already had some good use out of it as well. I haven't typed on the back of here how much it is. Let's have a quick look in the book. I'm pretty sure it's very reasonable. Page are we on? £17, just £17, and the bundle, hope that's in shot, is just £37.75 with the dies. Highly, highly recommend this. Of course, you've got the suite here for £54. You get the pattern paper, this lovely evening evergreen chevron weave ribbon, and the bundle, so the dies and the stamps, for £54. So absolutely love it. I love it all. You know me, I love it all. Stampin' Up! They just produce fantastic products. We are super, super lucky. So let's put those to one side and going to bring in, let's show you the colours. If you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen a little sneak at my colours. Now, this one here is actually Blushing Bride, but the sticker, I don't know what happened to the sticker. I think it fell off or I lost it. So I had to stick on the French version. But we've got Blushing Bride, Soft Succulent, Evening Evergreen, and Crumb Cake. So that is my colour combo for the day. For the morning, actually. I shan't be live with you all day. You'll be asleep by the end of it. Let's just scroll some comments. Let's bring in the first kit. Okay, so I've got some layers cut ready. Won't share my card with you just yet. It'll be a surprise. Let's pull some tools together. My Tombow is getting very low, so we'll have to see how we go. Guys, what are we thinking on lighting? Because I've moved my lighting. I'm just moving it up a little bit. I've moved my light to a different angle so that we don't get the glare above. But I'm not sure if it's light enough. Right, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I feel tempted to put my light back over the top. It's hard to know, and with catch-up, by the time I play around with things. Okay, so basic white layer, 8 1/4 by 5 3/4. Just going to fold this right down the middle. Move you out of the way. And then my next layer is Crumb Cake. And we are measuring 3 5/8 by 5 3/8. Kate, you think the lighting's okay? Yeah, I think it's because I'm stood above my MacBook and I'm looking down on it, if you know what I mean, at an angle and not straight at it. So the screen looks slightly darker. Then we've got a layer that fits inside that one of basic white. And that one is 3... Oh, I think I might have given you a wrong measurement. Let's measure the Crumb Cake again. 3 3/4 by 5 3, which would make this layer 3 5/8 by 5 1/4. So I've just taken off 1/8 of an inch. So we've got those two layers that mat together there. And they're going to sit on the front of our card. Lots of white, as usual, for me. But first, I've got this piece of Blushing Bride. And when I originally made this first card, I stuck everything down and then realised that I'd done all my stamping in Blushing Bride. And then this layer that I'd stuck down, that I'm going to emboss now, I'd done in Petal Pink. I don't know how it happened. And they just didn't go well together. So... Morning, Belle, how are you? You've got no morning meeting today. Oh, do you know, I only finished watching you this morning on your replay because I think I keep having this problem where I'm watching people and Facebook, it kind of throws me out and says the video is ended or I can't watch the video. But I think I had a little warning notice come up on my Mac this morning saying that... my Mac was getting a bit full. So, and that's happened several times before. So I need to do a bit of decluttering. So I'm wondering if it's to do with that. So I need to find a bit of time somewhere in the day and start putting some things into that trash bin on my Mac. So, morning Vicky, how are you? Hope you're keeping well. Okay, so I'm going to be using from the Checks and Dots embossing folders. So these come as a pair. They're lovely because they also fit inside the mini cut and emboss machine. I haven't showed you this one for a little while, but I probably won't come into shot. But as you can see, these fit, they're designed to fit inside here, which is perfect for having just by your desk. A really good little machine, very handy. So I'm just going to be using the dotty one. I'm going to be putting this lovely sort of check one to one side. Right, just for my peace of mind, I am moving. Oh, do you know what, guys? I mean, this is just me all over. Didn't even have my light switched on. Really, honestly? I amaze myself sometimes that just how dim I am. That is much better. I can actually see what I'm doing as well. So back to the checks and dots. So I'm going to pop that in. I've got an item number here if you want to add these into your basket now. 155432. So you get both of those embossing folders in one pack. So we just have to move a layer out of my cutting machine and I'll just run that through. I love how embossing folders add such a quick wow to a project. I feel like it's Blackpool Illuminations here now. It's like everything is bright and light, which is good. That makes me happy. Right. Put that to one side. So I've just embossed this lovely dotty piece. Let's bring in, so I'll measure this one for you. So it's 3 5/8, which should be the same width as the basic white, and it measures 3 1/4, which is the width basically of the embossing folder. I'm just going to add with my espresso Stampin' Right marker a bit of splat, just a little bit, to take away the plainness of here, of this background. So I've just added in some dots there. Now from the DSP, I'm going to use this strip here, and you've probably heard me talking, if you've been catching up on my Facebook Lives lately, I use, because this is a Christmassy paper pack, let's just bring it back in. I mean, that one for me would be a little bit difficult at the moment. You could make a masculine card with that one. But it is, you know, like a pine tree. So it is very Christmassy. So I would probably struggle to create with that one. But the other patterns, even this one in small doses, really you can get away with them for non-Christmas projects. Even this one, which I may be using earlier. So, but I find just by using little skinny strips like this, for one, it stretches your paper such a long way. And you don't need to use like a whole layer of it if you don't want to. Of course you can, but if you don't want to, then you don't have to. So I'm popping these to one side. I'm going to do some stamping first. Now, this is the first stamp I'm going to use. It's this lovely, I want to say filigree. I don't know if that's the right word, but it's a lovely filled image with lots of little leaves, and we've got this lovely die that cuts it out as well, which is always good. We love our coordinating products. So let's get a scrap of paper. That's a bit tight. That could be pushing the boat out a bit. And I'm going to ink this one up in the Blushing Bride. And I've got so many ideas. of what to do with these stamps. Just not enough time to share everything with you. So I've inked up that star. Just going to snip around that because I want to cut that out in a moment with the die. From the Biggest Wish, I'm going to be using, I haven't got my projects in front of me, but I'm going to be using the word hello, which I've already pulled out. And I'm going to be using this word as well, but I'm not making a birthday card. So wait and see what happens. Let's open up the soft succulent. Got ink on me then. And then my hello word, which you all know makes me want to go hello. I don't know why, it's very weird. But I can be very weird at times, can't we all? So I'm just going to quickly fussy cut around this one. It's really not tricky. If you struggle with fussy cutting, just take your time, go slowly. I'm quite a speedy fussy cutter, but go slowly, and I'm trying to go slow now, and leave a little white gap between the stamped image and your cut line, and it does help. You have to think a lot of images that Stampin' Up! Design for us that have a coordinating die or a punch, they leave a white gap around the edge. Let's just trim that off neatly, like that. So we've got a little hello word there, pop that to one side. Then what else do I need to stamp? Oh, this fun bit. So I'm going to pull back in the Blushing Bride, take a scrap, and then from my birthday word, I'm going to use some of the letters, but I'm not using the whole of the word. So to start with, I'm going to ink up the B and stamp it down. And then I need another one, like that. Then just dipped my finger in the ink, and I feel the need to sniff. I've been really sniffly last couple of days. Then I'm just inking the other end like that. So have you guessed what this is going to be? Can your brain work it out before I cut them? Yeah, I've been really sniffy. Both of the grandchildren have had colds, and I was with them all day yesterday. Right, let's try and talk and cut at the same time. The concentration we need, hey? Let's just trim around this. I just love how this Biggest Wish stamp set, I love the images on their own. You know, if you just stamp these down with a few flowers dotted around them, then you haven't got a lot else to put on your creation, because the stamps just kind of make it for you. Kate, you think it says baby? I think you could be right. Now, I don't think with my projects using the Tidings and Trimmings, it would be hard to create some beautiful projects that are non-Christmassy just using these stamps. It would be very hard. I've tried very hard on all of my creations with it so far to try not to use too many other products with it. Sorry, I don't know if I was in shot then. But my aim is to try and just stick to as few amount of products so that you can see the real possibilities of this set. We're nearly there. Let's move all that to one side. Trim around that was a bit close. It's not difficult trimming around either. Okay, let's put all that in the bin. So, Kate, you were right. Baby. We all need a baby card now and then, don't we? Okay, so that's all of my stamping done for this one. So let's tip that to one side. Bring in the cutting plates. And what I'm going to do, also using this piece of crumb cake, I'm going to cut out my star, and then I'm going to use this beautiful intricate star to cut out, and then I'm going to use these two as well, and I think we'll run it all the way through in one go. I have to tape this one down because my top plate's gone a little curvy. I do keep turning it. Bit of washi tape, hold you down. And then I've got a couple of scrap pieces here that were in my envelope ready. Now, Belle inspired me for some of the, well, one of my projects definitely. And you know, I'm always talking about Belle. I love cheerleading her. She's very inspirational. So when we come to that project, she will know what I am on about. Everything moved then. I turned a little bit too quickly. Right, just run that through. I don't like to die cut on the same table because it appears there's an avalanche going on because everything wobbles. Love, love, love these beautiful dies in this set. I mean, there is nothing. Are you going to come out? No, it needs a bit of encouragement, that one. There is nothing festive straight away when you look at these die cut pieces. Let's just pull the washi off. Pop these dies away. Get rid of all those pieces. Just see if we can get most of that out of there. I don't have my die brush anymore. It fell apart. So just push all of those. I need to get the die attachment that goes on here. How long have I been saying that? You know, it would make my life so much easier, and I keep either forgetting to put it to my basket or think, oh, I'd rather get that stamp set than spend the money on the brush when I can push them all out. And they do come out really easily. Of course, if you had a bit of wax paper, you could run in between. They would just fall out. Right, let's get rid of all the confetti. These pieces here, you could put them in a pot and use them in shaker cards. Mine are going straight in my bin. I have so many pots going on around me. You know me and my goo pots. I have actually in one of my cupboards, I've got like a tray, a box with all the goo pots in that have got designated stamps and die cut pieces in there ready. Oh, morning, Katie. How are you doing? Belle, am I making you blush? Well, you're worth blushing about because you're very inspiring. So, I mean, look at these lovely pieces, lovely die cuts. Let's start assembling. So we've got our lovely embossed layer here and this lovely piece of DSP. So what I want to do first is just attach this to the bottom. So I'm just going to run. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this Tombow is getting low. You've got a day off. Wow, that is fun. Hope you have got a bit of creative time planned in. I know life is busy for a lot of us, and sometimes when we get a day off, we have to catch up with all those mundane jobs. But I feel that, you know, when you've got a day like that, you need to get the bad jobs done first, and then reward yourself with a bit of creative time. So I'm going to pop this Blushing Bride layer down onto my basic white. Make sure that we've got no overhanging edges, and then we can pop it down onto that crumb cake piece. So I'm going to put it down just a bit from the top. Looks like it is overhanging a little bit. Doesn't look very straight either. Let's just see. Yeah, I can see a little bit. Just trim that. Just so we've got a nice neat edge. And then we're going to mount that onto this crumb cake layer. So quite often we get leftover skinny pieces like this. Like the piece that I've just cut off, that will go back in my little bag. I keep a little bag of all the off-cut pieces. So I keep a bag like this with my DSP of all the little off-cut pieces. And when I need to, when I'm creating with this suite or with these colours, then I can pull that bag out and know that there could be something in there that I'll be able to use up. Oh, Katie is sorting out car insurance. What a horrible task. Such a mundane one. Well, you get it done, eat the frog and get it out of the way, and then you can do something nice after. You've bought yourself a pack of crumb cake card, Katie. I love crumb cake. That was one of the first colours when I first joined Stampin' Up 11 and a half and a bit years ago. Crumb cake I've loved ever since, but it was one of the first colours that I bought, along with pumpkin pie. I mean, can you believe I bought pumpkin pie as a first choice? She who doesn't like bright colours, she who very rarely uses an orange in her creativity, I bought pumpkin pie and I rarely use it, but I'm trying to pull myself out of that zone. As much as I love creating with subtles and the soft colours and the pretty colours, that's why I've been looking at challenging myself, and by doing the global design project, that's enabled me to pull out colours that maybe I wouldn't put together normally. So I'm super excited that I won the first colour challenge that I entered, and that I get to be a guest designer this month. So I've been creating with some other colours. Ruth, you're going to have to catch later. You've got to share the broadband. Oh gosh, bless you. Okay, my lovely. Thank you for stopping by. We'll catch up with you later. Sorry that you've got to isolate. That's rubbish. Right, I'm going to pop down this lovely die cut star near the top centrally. I just put a little bit of Tombow behind, not too much. And then my star here, which I didn't cut out very well looking at it, I'm going to trim off just a bit of that white. Because it's a little bit out of balance. That's better. Let's put some dimensionals behind. I'm getting to the end of this sheet as well. Nearly at the end of my Tombow and nearly at the end of another sheet of dimensionals. And then I'm going to pop that one down on top like that. Let's bring in these other bits and pieces. I need to just wipe my hands. I've got Tombow on me. Yeah, Crumb Cake for me is it's a brilliant neutral. Sorry, having a drink moment there as well. It's a really great neutral, and for me, if I'm using a lot of colour, it just helps to tone it down in my world and kind of keep everything looking a bit more, you know, balanced. I'm going to pop the hello here. So I'm just going to add in a dimensional on the left side. Won't go in my bin. And then a bit of Tombow on the right. And hang it half on and half off of my star. Like that. Hello. And then down here, my word. Oh, I've missed out that little bit in there. And we'll just lay this down to start with before I stick, so that we know where we want it to be. So roughly about there. I'm not going to raise this on dimensionals. I know you are all shocked about that, but it's just going to be quicker because I've got 3 cards I want to make with you today. Probably just as quick to pop glue straight on there. B-A-B-Y. Oh, stuck to me. It's very windy, I can hear it. I hear the trees out there. That means probably where we've had a bit of dry weather, there's going to be some leaves coming down. Oh joy. Just to keep me busy. Hello baby. And then these 2 little die cuts pieces, I thought I would just thread down in here like this. I'm going to snip off that end just because it's quite long and it's probably going to get in the way. So just pop one down there, and then this one in the soft succulent just in front of it. Doesn't want to go. Let's chop a bit off. It's because I added glue underneath this star. That will do. Let's turn it a bit. I say that will do, press it down and stick it and then change my mind. I'm sure you all do that as well. And then to finish, in the die set, we've got this lovely little star here. I can't wait to use these. I'm so excited to use those. But we've got this lovely little star. So I've just cut some out ready to save a bit of time. Morning, Lynn, how are you? Hope you're well. And then I'm just going to pop in. Alf is knocking things off. What are you up to, mate? Pop in 3 stars. Now, there is in the stamp set well, in fact, I think there are 2 lovely star stamps. Let's pull it in and have a look. Yes. So we've got this outline, and then we've got that solid star there. I've got it out. It's quite tiny, but you could stamp those if you wanted to. Another way of using the stamps, but I just thought I would use the die cuts. Got a bit of glue under here already. Everything's sticking. So there we go. I've turned a couple of, well, really only this actual stamp, but into a project that is not festive, but I've used lots of the dies from this very festive set and turned it into something a little bit different. So that's the first of today's shares. Now the next one, this was inspired by Belle. Let's move those to one side. And I've done some things ahead of time, and I've made this card twice because I couldn't decide what I liked. So, Linny, you're doing okay? You're going back to work in early August. That's good to hear. That's good to hear. I'm sure it's going to be, I remember when my daughter went back to work and she said she found it quite hard to start with, quite tiring, and you know, your life changes, doesn't it, when you don't have to step out of the door routinely every day. So I hope it'll be okay for you. I'm sure it will be. And you've got a little bit more time to get your strength back up as well. So, but that's good to hear. It's good to be getting back out into the world. So my next card, same colours, of course, same products. I'm going to use Crumb Cake as my base. Now, this was inspired, I hadn't even thought about doing this or using this stamp from the stamp set. So just take another peek at the stamps. I'm going to be using this one. I equally love, no I'm not, I'm using that one. I love that one. I love both of these. You know, Christmas stockings, they make perfect Christmas cards, don't they? So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to just do a different style of card base. I'm going to pull in, let's move these inks to one side, pull in my trimmer. I need to just take a measurement. So I'm going to do a cut at 2.5. And what I'm going to do on my front cover, on the front of my card, the dark grey is my cutting. I'm going to line my card in at 2.5. That's not right. That's way too much. 2.5. No, it is. Of course it's right. It's not too much at all. And then what I'm going to do is bring my cutting blade to the centre part of my card. I don't know if you can see on here, but on my cutting blade, I've got like a little groove here, and I'm lining up that line with the center point of my card, and then I'm going to trim it off like that. Then I'm going to pop it back in and pop the center of my card into the cutting line. Again, pull this down and line it. There's a ridge on this side as well, a groove. Line it up with this cutting mark and just chop off that section like that. So we've got like a bit of a, I don't know what the actual technical term is, a bit like a barn door effect going on. So let's just give that another crease. Now, the only thing I do find is with this, sometimes you get like a longer bit here. But I'm just going to kind of flatten that out. I don't know if you can see where, if you don't cut exactly on the score line, you still get a little bit of overhang. But I'm not worrying about that at this point. I think it's totally fine. This piece that I've cut off, I'm going to trim. And I'm going to cut it to 2.5 by 4 inches. I think it measures 2.5. Yeah, I just need to take a little bit off that length. So where that rough edge is, I'm going to cut that at 4. And just take a slither off of that edge from here. So that's that piece. I've just cut it off at 2.5 by 4 inches. Now with this little panel, put that to one side for the moment. Bring in some scrappy pieces. Now on my original card I used this, but I will show you the original after, but I'm not going to use it on this one. So I've cut a piece just a smidge smaller. That is very tight actually, I think, because I've just trimmed a little bit off. Might just cut a teeny weeny bit off of that piece as well. So this should be just an 1/8 smaller. So 2 3/8 by 3 7/8. So those two just mat together nicely with an even border. So we're not wasting that panel that we cut off. We're using it. Katie, I've just seen you're saying morning to Alfie. He's done a runner now. He came up, said hello, had a scratch, and now he's gone back downstairs. The door's open down there, so he's just kind of like, he's on patrol of the garden. Not that we get a lot in the garden, and he can't see anybody passing by. But saying that, we do have, we get pheasants here, we get moorhens. The ducks come over from the pond, and yeah, so we do have a bit of wildlife in the garden. Right, next I need another scrap. I don't know if that's big enough. Might need to cut a piece, because what I'm going to do now is use these two dies. So let me just cut another piece of white that's big enough. Oh, I've got a bit up here. Hopefully that will be large enough. Nope. Yeah, so we have plenty going on. And talking of wildlife in the garden, goodness me, on Saturday, Jason was doing some strimming. I was doing some tidying up at the back of the house, and we've got a grapevine that comes over the fence. So I thought I'd give it a tidy up. There was lots of ivy coming over the fence as well, and loads of brambles, and I hate working with brambles. Absolutely hate it. Even with like really protective gloves on, I still get pierced. And in fact, I got pierced on my arm and it pulled. I was pulling the ivy down from the fence and my arm caught on a bramble and it pulled, it really hurt. I'm not a wimp by any means, but it really did hurt. And then I was pulling weeds up from the bottom. Well, it wasn't weeds, it was ivy coming through at the bottom of the fence. And then this flipping frog jumped out right in front of me. It was totally camouflaged to the fence. It wasn't green, it was like a yellowy colour. And of course, it made me jump, and I kind of like, I didn't scream, but I know something came out of my voice box. And I jumped back, poor little frog, I probably scared it to death. And I was like, well, I need to get rid of this frog. I've got to do something. I can't leave it there because I need to finish getting all this ivy and sorting out this vine. So I ran down to the greenhouse, got a huge plastic container, like a tub, like a plant pot, but quite a large one. And one of those little trays, you know, the round trays that you sit under to catch the water. And I managed to coax the frog into this container and go and put it in the stream. So I was quite proud of myself for doing that. But as I was carrying it, I put the round piece, I put that on the top so that it didn't jump out, and it was jumping around in there as I was moving it. So I was a bit nervous, but I managed it. So, but then I was like super anxious. I was like on frog patrol for the rest of the afternoon while I was out there, because I was like, am I going to find another frog? As I'm pulling up these weeds and ivy. So what I'm going to do now, bring in, so yeah, that was a bit of a highlight. But mission accomplished. I pulled all the ivy down and I trailed the vine along the fence. So it's gradually, every year, it's creeping along. So I'm just layering these two together, a nice even border around them if I can. And we're going to stick them down. I'll just run that through. Yeah, there's quite a lot of grapes on them at the moment, but they're still very tiny. Very tiny. And of course, they're not grapes like you would buy in the supermarket. You wouldn't want to like pick a bunch and eat them. They're very sour. And I'm sure there will be something I can do with them in my Thermomix. I shall have to look it up. Okay, so bits and pieces cut out. Let's just untape those two. Get as many little bits out as we can. So yeah, we achieved quite a lot out in the garden. Jason trimmed the huge one we've got 2 arch bushes that you walk under, and he trimmed the huge one. Mind you, he was up on the ladder scaring me because he's the hedge over the years. I mean, we've been here 4 years in August, which I can't believe, but over the years the hedge seems to be getting wider and wider, and he has like a petrol hedge trimmer with like a real long extending arm, and he gets to the top of this ladder, and it's a big ladder, and he had it on the bridge, half of it on the bridge, half of it on the ground, like leaning across, asking me to hold the bottom. So I was like, just hurry up, do it quick. Bless him. But he managed it. It looks much tidier. We did get wet in the process. We had to take cover. If you saw my stories on Instagram, you'd have seen we had to take cover under another tree. But job done. Okay, so I love these two. I love that you can achieve this and then be left with this as well. So I do love that about this die set. So what I'm going to do to start with, just because I feel like I've got lots of pieces around me, is take a teeny weeny bit of glue just on, oh, that's splattered everywhere. Let me just wipe the end of that, it's got sticky. A little bit of Tombow. So what were you guys all up to at the weekend? We managed to get a food shop in as well. That was about it really, gardening, food shop. I think that was it. Dog walk, obviously, down the lane. Just gonna lay that on there, and then just a couple of dots in the centre of here. So I don't know if you can see that, but I don't plaster loads of glue on there. One, it will just ooze out. Just getting rid of that little bit. Look how beautiful these are when they're mounted together. And imagine this in different colour combinations. There's a bit of Tombow there, but that's going to be hidden. So yeah, we had quite a fun-filled weekend. Lots of gardening. Right, where am I going with this now? Let's do a bit of stamping, and then we can pop everything together. So on this one, that's why I thought I was using that one, because I pulled out the one that I'm not using. I want to use this one because it's got a nice solid background. We want Blushing Bride, bit of scrap white. This is just beautiful, this stamp. The pattern on here, finger went in then, so I can get 2 out of there. Look how lovely that is. I just love that leafy pattern. Now when you look at that, I know I've done it in pink, but it doesn't necessarily, the pattern doesn't scream to me as Christmas. So we've got a die that cuts it out, which is super fabulous, but of course you could fussy cut around it. What I'm going to do is line it in. You know where I'm going with this, don't you? Oh, just readjusting. Sorry that I kind of go off shot doing this. But I'm sure it's much better than, look at that, love it. Just line that one in. I do find it takes a little minute to line it in nicely this time. And then we've got both of them cut ready. Can you see they're a bit crooky? And then what I'm going to do is chop off the top. Have a bit of a rounded edge. I did also manage to make quite a few jars of jam. Had a little panic coming because the blackcurrants are coming thick and fast. They're not ready to harvest yet, but they're coming. Few raspberries are coming. I don't think I'm going to have as many as last year, but I did prune my raspberry bushes, and I don't know whether I did a poor job or whether it's just not going to be the year of the raspberry, but there don't seem to be so many coming. Let's do that one up for the moment. Got lots of inks and things open. Yeah, so I thought I still had lots of fruit in the freezer over here from last year. So, oops, I'm just finding some scrap. So I decided to pull out some raspberries and some blackcurrants, and I made loads of jam in my Thermomix, which is fabulous because it's so easy. So easy to make jam in there. So from the Tidings and Trimmings stamp set, I'm using this image again. Those of you that watched me on my Facebook Live last week saw me use this. And I just want, let's trim that off to start with. I just want the word wonderful. Yes, I've got lots of jam again because I'd run out of, my favourite that I make is plum and apple with the green gauges. But I totally ran out of that. I'd even used all of the blackcurrant and the last of the raspberry jam. So on Sunday, whilst the Grand Prix was on, Sophie came over with Alex. She did a bit of stitching and I made loads of jam. So result. So we're well stocked up now. Just cut this one out really quickly. I don't need those bits. Straighten it out. And then I needed something else. I needed a different greeting. And I don't have any specific baby stamp sets at the moment. But I did feel that I could use something from here. And I thought this one worked really well. So happy to hear of your exciting news. Congratulations. And this is the many messages, and it has the die, I say die set, it's a single die that cuts all of these greetings out in one go. But of course, I chopped all of mine up because so that I could use them individually. I wouldn't highly recommend that. So I'm going to use 2 parts of this stamp. Let's have a slightly longer piece. I'm going to do it same in the soft succulent. Just going to stamp it down. Now I'm looking at my card, I'm wondering, I need my big scissors to trim around this. And use both of those bits. So I'm going to cut out congratulations. Now long scissors are really handy for this kind of task because they give you a nice long cut rather than if you use small scissors it will kind of hack it, for want of a better word. Because you'll be opening and closing your scissors several times and it kind of won't cut, you won't have a straight finish. Of course, you could just colour this in with a marker pen, a Stampin' Right marker, and just colour in the word congratulations and stamp that down onto a skinny strip. But I find, because I've cut this stamp set up, my stickers don't actually line up with my stamps very well. And that's the one reason I would recommend that you don't cut it up. So next, I just want the word news. So let's just trim around there, straighten up the bottom bit. He's back again. And then we can close up that ink for the time being. And let's start putting it together. So here's my base with my barn door fold, if that's what you would call it. And let's do a little bit of splatting just on the inside with my espresso marker. Just in this top section, oops, that's going to pop out the top of the card. It's going to be on view. And then we'll just pop, let's make sure it's the right size before we stick it in. Yep. And just pop that straight in. Tombo's giving up on me now. Just pop that one down in. Like that. And then with my layer for the front, so this front panel is 3 1/4, so my cardstock will be 3 7/8, which is the same width of the base, by 3 1/8, 3 1/8 even. Get your teeth around that one. And then I've cut a skinny strip of the DSP, and also I pulled this from my scrap bag. And on my original card, I used this one, and then I switched it out for another one. I'm just going to hover it. I'm going to stick with this one. And all I want to do is mount these two together. Don't need the whole of this length, so let's just chop a bit off. Just pop, I love a reverse on this one as well. So that's actually Sahara sand, which does kind of work quite well with Crumb Cake. So I'm just mounting those, leaving a little border of the Blushing Bride underneath. Make sure that's straight. Snip that off, and then I'm going to pop it down on the bottom of here. And then trim off any excess. So as far as pinks go, who's a fan of Blushing Bride? I really love it with certain colours. So I've just popped like a little border down there. Turn it over and snip off the pieces that we don't need. Yeah, I love Blushing Bride and Crumb Cake together. I think they work really well. But like I said, Crumb Cake kind of goes with everything. It's one of those colours that will work all round. So I'm just going to pop this now down onto my front of my card. Like that. And then my little panel here, I'm going to pop some dimensionals behind just to let it stand up a little bit. Oops, I just bent that then. And I'm going to have it so it touches this border. So I just want dimensionals on this bottom part. Otherwise, if I stick them up here, it's going to close my card together and we won't be able to open it. And that wouldn't be good, would it? So just dimensionals on the bottom. Belle, you like Blushing Bride. Yeah, I love Blushing Bride. And sometimes it's not until you put two colours together that you realise just how different they are. Let me grab one of each. And I think they clash, these two colours together. So this is Blushing Bride that I'm using. This is Petal Pink, which I love. It's very peachy, isn't it? Like you say. When you put them together, I'm just not sure that they go together. I feel like they clash a bit, but they look so different when you put them together. Yet when you look at a colour on its own, you don't realise kind of the tones in it. I love them both equally on their own. Right. Our two little stockings. Let's just pop a bit of Tombow and stick them together. Like a pair of baby's booties. And then some, of course, dimensionals behind. And then we'll just pop them on our star. Over on this side. Oop. Don't want to twist them too much. And then in my basket somewhere, I've got some white baker's twine. Just straighten it out. Just going to make a little bow, but I want to make a double bow. So what I tend to do is tie a bow very loosely to start with, so I know how much thread I need. I was going to cut it then, but I want to. But of course I need to cut it. I was having a moment then. My brain had a moment. And then I'm going to cut another piece exactly the same length. Yeah, but Kate, I love Blushing Bride. Oh, Janet, you've hit the nail on the head. Blushing Bride and Sahara Sand. I've changed all my display over here, but I did have a load of cards that I did with Blushing Bride, Sahara Sand, and I think Just Jade. Lovely combo. So I've got my two pieces of baker's twine. It's going to tie a bow. I feel like I've got way too much here, but better to have too much than not enough. Pull those through. And then pull tight. Bring you back around there. And I'm going to pull these two tails here, but pinch in the middle. And do the same on the other side. So pinch in the middle and pull those tails. If you've got one longer than the other, if you pull one of the tails, it will just even out your bow. Now, are our loops? They're okay. I might just make it a little bit shorter. I'm faffing now, no. Leave it, Kerry. I hear you all shouting at me. Don't faff. Just get it down there. Get it on and stop faffing. Little glue dot. Always use a glue dot when I'm using linen thread, or I'm trying to roll it now and it doesn't want to roll. Just pop it down there. I need to make it smaller. It's too big in my eyes. That one's a little bit small, so we'll just tug him through a bit. And then pop that on top of our booties. Add in the greeting. So Belle, we were in your neck of the woods yesterday. Well, and you, Kate, I guess. Your area, anyway, your direction of the country. Coles and I came to IKEA. But sadly, I've put that on the right, a bit far over. I'm going to move it. Although we checked stock before we left of an item, when we got there, they didn't have any, which was so frustrating. But never mind. Just going to pop that one on there like that. And then my little tiny news is going to go just underneath here. It's very teeny tiny. Wonderful news. I keep hearing this bird outside. I have no idea what it is, but it makes a very distinctive noise. Did we stop for meatballs? No, you had to like book, I think, to go in the restaurant. Plus we had Evsy and Vivi, and you don't really get a chance to sit and eat with a 1-year-old and 3-year-old. It's kind of like grabbing a coffee and eating on the go. I'm going to be really fussy now. I can see a little bit. I want to trim that a little bit more, which could be a disaster. I'm just seeing a bit of the wording that was above it. Just going to pop that over the bottom there. Just touching into the DSP. No, we didn't stop. I love an IKEA cinnamon bun. We didn't even stop for one of those. We kind of headed. But when you leave IKEA, there's nowhere to kind of get a takeaway, like a drive-through Costa or Starbucks. There was a sign outside saying that there was a Costa, but we couldn't find it. And I don't know whether it was in one of the restaurants or one of the shops. I know like Next sometimes have a Starbucks or a Costa actually inside, don't they? But anyway, so we stopped at the services on the way back and got a Starbucks, which was a real treat. So there we go. Oh no, little bit of finishing off. Now I didn't know whether on this one to put the stars on that I can't pick up. Or to stamp them with this little beauty, but I'm feeling because, no, it might work. What shall I do? Shall I stamp some stars or just stick these white ones on? What do we think? Shall I risk it? I quite like it white. What does everyone else think? Shall I just pop these stars on that I've die cut, or shall I stamp them in Blushing Bride? What do we think? Yeah, so we did get our Starbucks treat. That was like our coffee fix of the day. And it did mean we didn't spend much money in IKEA this time, but of course you want me to stick them on, Janet? Of course you can order online, can't you, with IKEA, but the delivery is quite expensive. I think when Coles looked for what she wanted, it was going to be about £40 delivery, which is quite a lot of money when we're only like 30 minutes away. Right, these are going down. Sorry for anybody else who decided they wanted me to stamp them. Kate, sorry about that. But I do plan to have a go at these in blue. So you could, of course, this will where your writing will go, what you want to write your message on. So thank you, Belle, because Belle inspired me to use this stamp as a baby stocking or baby booty rather than as a Christmas stocking. And I don't know, do you think it works? I kind of feel it does. Of course, you wouldn't, if you were using this Christmas stocking to make a baby card, you could use some more specific words that were associated to a baby card. But of course, I'm trying to just use what's in the set so that you can see how you can get a good run for this stamp set out of your money. So you like the card, thank you, Ellie. Yeah, it's a great idea for the stockings, isn't it? Little booties. To think of other things to do with it. So here's the previous one that I did. I just used the different DSP on here. And then my original one, which I just felt was a bit OTT, I stuck the Crumb Cake star behind the white die cut pieces, and I specifically left in some of the pieces here, which I quite like that effect, but after I made it, I was like, oh, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. She the faffer. So, and then when I made this one, I felt it just looked a lot cleaner. Didn't know whether this one was just a bit too much going on. Anyway, I'm pleased with how they turned out. Got one more thing to share. What are we doing with time? Goodness me, look at the time. One more quick one. I've got pieces cut. I'm not fussy cutting. One more quick one because we're using a different piece of the DSP. I could have gone on and on with this stamp, and I've got another little technique to show you on using the star as well. So basic white layer, folding down. I'm not going to put any more layers on here, but I am going to add a bit of background splats. I'm using espresso because I've totally trashed my crumb cake. And I've started on my Sahara sand, but I don't do it all the time. It will damage them eventually if you keep doing this. Okay, so I adore this piece of DSP in the pack. Let me show you it. Remember, there's 15% off this pack of DSP this month as well. I am placing an order tomorrow. So if you're a customer and you wanted any of the paper in the sale, just get in touch and I can pop it on my order. I think I love it because it's soft succulent, and I do love soft succulent. I know it's got fir cones on it. I know it's got like a fir tree. It's even got holly and berries. But I am going to detract the eye from that. I mean, that definitely screams Christmas, doesn't it? I'm so excited to use that side of the paper. So excited. I'm not saying that I'm ready for Christmas. I am not. And I love Christmas. I'm not a bar humbug. I do love Christmas, but not too early. I just find if I start focusing on loads of Christmas projects too early, that by November, I'm kind of a bit cheesed off with it. Another piece of Blushing Bride. So let me just measure this piece for you, because I know some of you like to replicate my card with your own things. It measures 1 inch by 4 5/8. Of course, it could be a scrap end piece that you've got left. And then my Blushing Bride layer is 3 1/4 by 2 3/8. Again, this piece could just be a scrap that's in your scrap bag. Ellie, yeah, this die cut, it looks great when you leave all the pieces in. It does. Okay, so let's pop this layer down. This one won't take long to come together. As I said, I've got bits and pieces done already, and I'm just going to lay it down, slightly overlapping my DSP. Like that. Then I've ready die cut these 2 pieces again, but what I thought I would do this time, and I can see I've got one stamped already, I'm just going to die cut this one out. Star dies are fabulous for masculine and young man cards, because if you just die cut in whatever colours you're choosing, a couple of stars, and just kind of overlap them, you've got a ready-made background really, really quickly. Nearly done with that piece of washi tape. So, oh, Got a bit of an edge on there, but so like if you die cut like loads of stars and then kind of laid them down in different colours, that would be a great base for a card. I just need to doctor this piece a little bit. Got a very rough. Oh, it doesn't matter. Stop what you're doing, Kerry. It really doesn't matter because we're going to hide it. I'm going to pop some dimensionals. Oh, I hate to say it's gone really dark here. Really dark. It's lovely though because all of my water butts are full again. And that just brings me so much joy not to have to use the hose pipe to water the garden. And then on the back of here again, just a few little dots to anchor it down in the middle. And I'm going to pop it right over the top. This die set is brilliant, honestly. Yeah, I'm not far from you, Katie, am I? It has gone a bit dark. It could be heading my way from you. I'm trying to look to see which way the wind is blowing. To be honest, the trees are blowing in all directions. That's not a good thing either, is it? Okay, so let's pop this down. So I've literally just mounted those three together. So just a bit of Tombow on the back of there. I'm going to pop it so it's overhanging the edge of this Blushing Bride layer. Is it straight? I really want to sniff as well, but now is not the time. When you're live. Next, I stamped one of these ahead of time and cut it out so that you didn't have to painfully watch me do that. So we'll pop that one on, use some dimensionals. I think I missed there. Come up, put you there. I'm going to pop that one up here. And I think you can probably guess what's coming next. Katie's still got puddles from last night's rain. I know, didn't it come down? Didn't it come down? We were supposed to be having a barbecue on Sunday evening. And then the weather turned a bit rotten. And I'd got some salmon out of the freezer. So we were planning on having this barbecue last night. Although Jason was home late. I didn't get home until probably 5:30 from spending the day with the girls. And he messaged and then said he was going to be home late. So anyway, we ended up lighting the barbecue just outside the back of the snug, which is really handy because there's like a little porch area there. Jason did get a little bit wet. So we still managed to have our barbecue. I did a nice salad. So I had a salmon and salad, and Jay had some pork that had been marinated. Right, I just need to see, I haven't cut that little bit out of the middle. So I've stamped the word baby again. So remember, the word baby came from this stamp. So do look at this stamp set for what else you can make with, you know, by building the letters together. And then we're just going to pop this on here, just randomly, not in any specific neatness, no more dimensionals, oops, and then it all flew everywhere, just straight down on. We could pop it in dimensionals, that would make it pop a bit, but I'm going to leave it flat. Dropsies now, right where you don't want to drop it. And I've left that middle bit in. Yeah, didn't we have some rain? Goodness me. it's all like up and down, not straight in a line. It's just very random to make it look a bit fun. And another stamp from the set, which I did use last week, is this lovely bow. So let's just find a block. And then on a bit of soft succulent cardstock, I'm not going to use my mat just for this one, it should be okay, with the evergreen ink, just stamp that one down. I love, love, love stamping with evergreen ink onto soft succulent cardstock. Look how it pops out. I do love that. In true Blue Peter fashion, here's one I did earlier, and I've just given it a little bit of a curl. And I'm going to pop a mini dimensional just onto the right hand side there. And just tag that in right down there. Hang it in there. And pre-stamped one of these ahead of time as well. I'm going to cut out my congratulations again. Of course you could put this in a trimmer, but if you've got a steady hand and a long sharp pair of scissors, you can get a good cut. And to be honest, this is going on a white background, so you aren't really going to notice if it's a little bit wobbly. Congratulations. And then I'm going to just pop this down here. Oop, the door's blowing. Closed or open. It's got a bit of a squeak on it, that door downstairs. Hello, baby. Congratulations. And then the other thing I've done is I stamped one of these. I've been trying to find what else can I do with this star. What can I do with this pattern? Absolutely love this pattern in here. So I thought I wanted some stars down here, but I didn't want just plain white stars. So I took this little die, this little star, oops, and then cut out, that doesn't show very well, cut out some mini stars from that lovely pattern to give me, still got a baby word left in there, to give me these pretty little decorated stars. Now the other thing I was thinking with this or with the stocking, this here, you could punch out little circles. We don't have any small circle punches, sadly, but think of any other shapes. If you've got any dies that are small enough, just punch out little circles and use those to create a background. So I had that in my mind, but just haven't gone any further with it. Right, I'm going to use 5. So we'll put you two to one side. Yeah, I haven't gone any further with that thought. I'm going to put my glue down onto my card. And I'm just spacing out my Tombow first, which isn't, look at that. I mean, that is not very well spaced out. Could do with a bit more putty coming out, really. Let's pop the end ones in first. Way too much Tombow, Kerry. Do you not learn? Get them down and then we can straighten them up after. Just move it across. Pick up the glue and drag it into position. Oop. Got Tombow everywhere now. You need to come over a little bit, matey. Whoop. I think that will do. Move you in a little bit more. Just got a little bit of overflow there. And there we're done. Another baby card. So I'm hoping everybody that I know that's expecting is going to have a girl. What I really want to do is make some exactly the same as this, but in a different colourway. Probably Misty Moonlight would go really nicely with the soft succulent. So that might be a plan, so watch this space. So that's my 3 cards, of course using a Christmas stamp set. The only other stamps obviously I've pulled in are the Biggest Wish to help me out with my greetings. And then I used the one stamp from the many messages for the congratulations. So thank you, Belle. Yeah, I love these little tiny stars as well. I think you've just got to look at these images and maybe punch things out of them, do different things, punch leaves out of them and things like that, just to find another way of using them. So I was really, really pleased with how these turned out. Like I say, I think I feel some boy ones coming on, baby boy, or maybe even a nice pale blue like Pool Party. Let's see how Pool Party would look with that. Or even, no, mint macaron won't work with it. That would be quite nice for baby. Although I do like these, they look kind of quite rich together. So yeah, imagine it done in boy colours. So I was really, really pleased with how they came out. Nice to be able to use a stamp set and pattern papers that is not, you know, just for Christmas in my eyes. So hopefully I've been able to share with you other ways that you can look at a stamp set. Thank you, Lynn. It's true, they're not just for Christmas. Not just for Christmas. Where's my ones that I made last week? Thank you, Kate. You like the cards as well. Thank you so much. So these are the ones that I did last week, in case you didn't catch live with me, but you can go back and watch these live using the hand penned, and again using the Christmas greetings, but cutting into them to create different greetings. So I just love it. Love it, love it. Then, of course, I've got my class in the post, which uses the not the hand penned, because I was just talking about it, the Sweet as a Peach, and obviously the Tidings and Trimmings, some of the greetings, and it uses the dies as well in there, and the DSP. So I thought I'd put that on my website, but I haven't actually got it up there, so I will try and do that. Yeah, Belle, I'm excited to see what you're going to be doing with yours as well, and I'm super excited to actually stamp Christmas with this stamp set. So yes, so I think that's all I need to let you know about. Remember, we've got the DSP sale. Oh, one last thing, got the DSP sale coming, well, available now, 15% off all 9 of these paper packs. And then just a little sneak peek. Today is the last day to book for my 6-card class in the post. So again, it's using this DSP. You'll get sheets, a sheet of each of the 6x6 papers. And I'm using the Sweet as a Peach to create my images. Oh, not very often we hear anything going by here as regards ambulance, noisy like that and fast. Anyway, I think it's time for a coffee. I think you all need to have a break from me as well. Thank you so much for spending some time with me this morning. I've got a busy day of cutting, ready for an upcoming class, and lots of design stuff to do as well. So I'm super excited to get inking this afternoon, and I really feel that I need to have a go at doing these for a boy version. So thank you all for stopping by. If you've got any questions about anything, please shout. This will be heading over to YouTube on, well, later on my YouTube channel. So if you're catching on the replay, please do comment over on YouTube. It's lovely to know who's catching up with me. And let's hope we don't get too much more rain, because at the rate it was coming down, I know there are some people that are actually being flooded. So let's hope that we have a bit of brighter weather coming our way. So thanks again for stopping by. Please take care, everybody, and I will catch up with you all very soon. So bye for now.